For me, I feel like number one, it naturally makes my standards a bit higher because you don't want to just date anybody and you kind of feel like you have more to lose.
We're going to talk about the mistake that a lot of modern women make in thinking that men are intimidated by their money or thinking that men care about their success and that it affects their dating. We're going to get into it. It's a great topic, so let's not waste 1 minute. Let's get into it.
Yesterday or the day before, I did an Instagram questions thing, and one of the questions was about whether I thought that being successful has impacted my dating life. I feel like the kind of undertone was that it would be harder to date as a successful woman. So I've said I think it has, but not negatively. And people were messaging me and they were like, oh, what do you mean by not negatively? So, sorry, to give context, I am a lawyer, I'm an artist manager, I'm very like vocal about stuff that I do now, even though I didn't used to be. Um, and I guess in that sense, I'm like visibly successful as opposed to someone who might be successful but doesn't say it or whatever. So I basically said back to the people that were asking, I was like, for me, I feel like number one, it naturally makes my standards a bit higher because you don't want to just date anybody and you kind of feel like you have more to lose.
This is one of the mistakes that they make. A lot of women think that just because they earn $100,000 a year, that they automatically can ask for a man who makes $100,000 a year or demand a man who makes $100,000 a year to date them or to marry them just because they found a way to earn that amount of money. That's not how it works. So many women are making this mistake in the dating market and thinking that since you earn a lot of money, that means your dating market value is now higher. Your dating market value and your personal and financial value are two separate things when you're a woman. But when you're a man, your financial and personal value actually do coincide with your dating value. Let's get back into it.
You just naturally have higher standards in terms of like the kind of people that you feel like you should let into your life, right? Um, and the other thing, which is less in my control, I guess, but in a way, being successful, doing certain things with your life, being in certain spaces, it means that you're going to be around people who are kind of similar to you. So who you might not have like had the chance, you know what I mean? People that you might not have otherwise been around. So that for me is my explanation as to why it's not necessarily a bad thing to date as a successful woman. It's not necessarily harder. It's just different.
A lot of the good looking average women or the above average good looking women, they're muddying things up for the women who are below average or the women who are basic in looks. Because you have to consider the woman who doesn't have a very high dating market value and makes a high amount of money. This woman is going to be physically appealing to a lot of the high earning men that she's around. So she's getting a little bit of success. So her story could be a little bit different than what typical women who make six figures and are around six figure men every day and aren't getting results might be having. Let's get back into it.
There was a girl I was talking to who I know, and she was saying that her dad basically told her something like not to be too successful because it would scare men away. And I've been told similar things, not necessarily as directly as that, um, but people have asked me if I'm conscious about the fact that men might be intimidated by me or, I guess kind of, yeah, put off by the fact that you're a successful woman. And it's made me think a lot. I understand that the dating pool as a successful woman, I guess, especially as a successful black woman, um, is going to be smaller or maybe just different. I don't even know if I can describe it as smaller. It's just a different pool. Because I understand that some men, not all men, want to feel like they kind of have something to offer a woman. It's not just about, material things. I know that. But if we're talking about dating a woman who has a certain level of success or, has certain things or does certain things, um, I do feel like some guys see it as a bit woo because they kind of want to come into a woman's life and, show her things, give her things, show her life that she might not have otherwise had. Um, and kind of feel like they're providing something, right? A lot of men want to be providers.
Now, this is true. And this is true for pretty much the majority of men. All men want to be a provider, or at least have the means to provide if they wanted to. When she talked about the girl's father who said that he didn't want her to be too successful, I've heard other men say this before, and not because the father doesn't want the daughter to not have money or not have a luxurious lifestyle, because of course the opposite is to be true. They want their daughter to have everything, but they don't want to see their daughters make the same mistakes that they've seen other women from their past make when they try to put their career in front of a man. Historically speaking, every time a woman has tried to put her career in place of a man, it's never gone well for her. So older people tend to advise younger women who are very, very passionate about a career life to also leave space for the things that will matter more to you when you're 45 to 55.
He ain't lying.
Let's go ahead and get back into it.
So when they see a woman who has all of these things already, or has already achieved certain things in their life, in their minds they might feel like they don't really have anything to offer her. And I've had guys kind of say similar things to me, so it's not like a completely like foreign concept to me. But I guess the whole thing about, dimming your shine, or not being too vocal about things, or like, the thought that you might like scare a man away because you are successful, or you like look like you've got a lot of money, or whatever it might be. I find it very hard to like process. In my mind, I'm not going to change unless it's something that's negative about me, in which case fine. I'm not going to change anything about myself so that somebody else who might come in will feel more comfortable, because it's like, okay, should I just stop doing things? Like, should I quit my job? Should I stop earning? Should I stop just so that someone can feel like, okay, I've got something to offer her, sort of thing.
Guess again.
Okay, this is something else that we hear often. Well, do you guys want us to not work at all and be poor and be on the street? Absolutely not. Of course, men want you to do something to take care of yourself because you're an adult. Of course, you have to take care of yourself. What men factor is where you prioritize said career. So if your career life and your passion goes above family life and children, that's not going to be favorable for most men in the dating market. Let's continue.
And I end up with this person who's comfortable that they can come into my life and, we're compatible because I don't look like I'm doing too much, and I'm not already like a made woman. If that's the aim, it's just, I don't see it as like a practical long-term thing. So I actually think that quite a lot of people that I've dated do kind of like the fact that the person that they're dating is like, switched on, got some stuff going on with herself.
What the hell are you talking about?
Where are these guys at who you guys say are looking for career women? Where are they at? Because I haven't talked to a lot of men who are like, especially busy, important, influential men who say, you know what I need? I need a woman who is also busy, influential, and not available. Because a lot of times the necessity for a woman is breeded in a man's busy life, things that he has and that he's consumed with that he needs help with. So if a woman also has a busy and consumed life, how much value can she be to the man is the most important question.
Successful or having certain things, that person is not for me. That's not my man. Like, that's not the kind of person I would want to go for anyway. And to be honest, like, even if I wasn't doing things or successful, I still wouldn't want to be with somebody who would feel a way about a woman having certain things or being successful, because if that happens for me down the line, what am I going to do now? Do you know what I mean? We're going to have problems because I'm doing things in my life. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Before we get into the commentary, I'm going to read a couple comments that I thought brought some interesting aspects to the conversation. Let's go ahead and get into it. This commenter said, never dim your light. Your success motivates men to do better if you are in a relationship, so keep pushing yourself upwards.
Shut the fuck up. God damn, nigga.
Looks like the simps have come out to embolden women. Now, do you think that if this woman who was making this video had a big back,
I don't deal with you big sassy ass broads.
do you think that there would be guys talking about, yeah, queen, don't dim your light? Absolutely not. Let's go ahead and move on. The next one says, if men are put off by your success, then they are insecure. Simple. I'm gonna say the exact same talking point that I said about the last commenter. Do you think that if this woman wasn't somewhat attractive, that these guys would be down here with capes on? I don't think so. The next one says, it's a proven statistic that the more successful a woman is, the harder it is to date. Even more so for a black woman. Of course, there will be outliers. And it's like, okay, if you guys are looking out into the world, looking and seeing what the data says, and the data is speaking loudly, it's funny when people go against it, even in humor, and act like there's something wrong with the data or the people who are creating the statistics. This is why people hated Kevin Samuel so much, because he always threw stats and things that were accurate in people's face. The one that really blew me away, that was the most jarring, was the one that says, couldn't agree more. People need to shift their perspective. And this is what I'm talking about when I say women look at the dating market as it should be. Men are forced to look at the dating market as it is. Men don't have an issue with women wanting to do things with their life. And you hear men say this often, like, I'm gonna pay all the bills, but I don't want a woman who doesn't have anything going for herself. You hear this all the time, but it isn't that men have an issue with you having things going on with yourself. What men have an issue with is women having a career or a passion or some sort of situation that they have going that's going to hinder her from being able to serve a man properly. Because women don't want to get with a man who has too many kids or too many illegitimate kids that he has to pay for, because it hinders what he's able to do for her. And men make decisions with discernment in the same way in regards to a woman and what she prioritizes in her life. Because of course you're valuable to a man from a physical sense, but more than that, you're valuable to a man with how much you're available to him. And if you're not that available, that can decrease your value as a woman. Even if you make $100,000 a year, hell, even if you make $1 million a year, your value as a woman can still diminish because your availability isn't as open as a woman who works at Denny's. The more women are in the dating market thinking that men are intimidated by their income, only moves them further away from getting the things that they want. Men are not intimidated by your money. Men are looking for women who prioritize the values that they find valuable. And there's a difference in that. Hit the subscribe button on your way out of the room. Also hit the notification bell so you can be notified every single time we post content like this. Do me a favor, drop a comment and let me know how we did on the video. See you on the next one.